Bishop, women who are sexually abused probably did much to cause the assaults.
Okay.
Florida Bishop Donald J. Sanborn wrote on his blog In Veritate that women who are sexually abused probably did much to cause the assaults. He continues, quote, "The effect of all of this revolution in sexual mores, as well as the role of women, is that men and women have been thrown together into situations which are very dangerous. Women are daily interacting with men in the workplace. In many cases, they are dressed in such a way as to be immodestly attractive to men. The inevitable result is that unless the men in the office are very vigilant about the virtue of chastity and and fidelity to their wives, some very bad things take place." What the fuck?
This guy, I don't know, is this guy really trying so hard to be hated? I don't know what is like. Does he not like? Does he like go home and listen to what he said? Like, what the fuck did I just say? Like,
What?
I mean, I guess we have to thank this guy for like reminding us how fucked up their ideology is.
What this guy needs to do is to, if he's going to follow the Bible, why is he blaming the women for the men's actions and for the men? In the Bible, it says if your eye causes you to lust, pluck it out. So why? Thou shalt not look at another man's wife with lust. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. I mean, it's a 10 commandment. It's one of the 10 commandments. It's
No, don't give credit. Don't give credit to the Bible for any.
No. I'm not giving credit to the Bible. I'm showing the sexism that is being spewed here. I mean, it's,
I have a question.
He's talking about women and the way they dress being the problem with men's virtuousness and their faithfulness to their wives. That's absolutely absurd. Why not address the men's inability to keep their mind on work things and not being perverted? I mean, what the fuck?
Okay. Well, I mean, come on. This is obvious shit. This is obvious bullshit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you would think it's obvious, but unfortunately, we have to report on shit like this because.
Okay, but what I want to know, what's less obvious to me, is that is this a person that thinks like he knows how out of touch he is with the society, or does he,
he's a bishop.
So he's like, or does he know, like does he go out go out there and say this thing knowing that it's going to cause a shitstorm tomorrow, or does he go out there and like this is obviously true? And gets surprised by the reaction that he gets. So, and like how out of touch are these people? I want to know. But
first, I want to clarify that he's not part of any Catholic church. He's not any official bishop.
How could you be Catholic and not official? Is it if you're not official Catholic, doesn't that make you a Protestant by definition?
Well, no. I mean, he still claims to follow Catholicism, but it's his own sect. He's not a part of the official.
So he's protesting against the Catholic Church. The official that makes him a Protestant. That's how you become. Okay, anyways, but that's where the name Protestant comes from. He's Catholic, but he's not part of the. Okay, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is he's saying that these women who are being sexually abused, not just, we're not talking about adultery, we're not talking about fornication, we're not talking about anything like that.
He's victim blaming. He's obviously victim blaming.
Yes, okay. Exactly. But I mean, I don't think I should have to clarify it, but unfortunately, I feel like I have to. But what a woman wears does not lead to sexual abuse.
Yeah, I feel it's so hard for me to say these things because I was like, whenever you say these things, I'm like, yeah, like why are you
exactly.
saying?
I feel like I'm sitting here saying 2 + 2 is 4. How fucking hard is it to get that? Like it's just.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I just feel so lazy saying these things because, like, yeah, what a woman wears doesn't mean that it doesn't make them. You can blame them for being the victim, and like, I just even don't feel like saying that because it feels like, who are we talking to? But it seems like we have to say these things. But so
well,
I mean,
it's either we say that or we tell all the women out there, stop making men attack you, like. I mean,
Okay, let's try to do the impossible, okay? Because we have to try to see, because we
are we
can't.
getting the devil's advocate thing here?
Yeah, we have to do devil's advocate because we wanna be able to see where they're coming from, or because again, we can't just
You
point.
can't. You
I
can't. There is
Wait,
no
no,
devil's
Jim.
advocate
No,
position.
let's try, because again, this is part of what we say. We can't just point at people and say they're stupid and think that they're going to change their mind. Or what are we
Sure.
going to do? Like, these people must have heard all the stuff that you're saying, right? So it can't be like they have never heard of it. So we could just repeating it to them is not gonna work. So we have to see, like, let's try to do the impossible. Okay, so okay, please don't cut this part out and make it seem like I'm saying these things, okay? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so men are on average. No, that's not true. So women, when you dress up, like when you highlight, when you try to make yourself look prettier, and wear shorter skirts, or show off your boobs, or put makeup on, and wear high heels, you're signaling your sexual attractive sexual parts of your body to the rest of the world. You're telling people that I want you to see this. I want this to be noticed. Why wouldn't you do that unless you wanted it to be noticed? Like, if you're showing off your boob, are you also not wanting it to be noticed, right? So given that people that might abuse people, they are more likely to abuse women if these signals are put out there and sent to them, and you put it out there, and it's more likely for them to want to do something. And don't you see a correlation between you putting it all out there and you also having been more likely? And okay, so I'm going to try to make the devil advocate even as strong as possible. I know this is, please don't hate me. So they might even come and say, yes, even if you completely cover up, you still might get raped or molested or sexually abused in some way. We're not saying this is, it might not happen, but what you're saying is that is it not more likely that will happen if you're showing it all off, right? And you might say, like, oh no, don't teach women what to wear, teach men not to abuse. Again, it's not like I'm not making it binary like that. Yes, men also get sexually molested and raped, and women also do rape. But
that's not the argument.
That's not the argument. Yeah, okay. So, but yeah, you might want to say that, but we're talking about men that are. We're not talking about men that won't. We're not talking about gentlemen. We're not talking about men that are decent. Okay, we're talking about men that do rape and abuse, do rape and do sexual misconducts. Among them, they're not going to stop just by telling them to stop, but they're more likely to molest women if women dress up, if they send out these signals more openly, right? So why not, for the sake of women themselves, not send out these signals as openly as they do? Isn't that so? Anyways, that was
okay. Well, if we're wanting to talk about stopping root causes, then why don't we do this? How about
no? Address what I said. Don't start a different argument. Address my devil's advocate.
Yeah. I know.
I have a response
responding
to my own
devil's advocate position. Why not take it one step farther and tell men to put their penis behind a locked cage, and they have to wear a chastity belt while they go to work, and whenever they come home to their wife can unlock it. Or if they're single, they have to leave their key at the house, and when they get home, they can unlock it. I mean, it's ridiculous thinking that stopping workplace assaults will can only be done by having or can be done by having women change what they wear. What women wear is not an action that that is exclusive to sexual assault, and sexual assault is not exclusive to what women wear. Sexual assault is exclusive to sexual assault.
I already addressed that. I said it doesn't. What the devil's advocate that I put out there is that it's not that it will stop it, but it will make it less.
But what's your evidence for that?
It's an educated hypothesis.
Okay, well, but in order to, are you saying that that's something that would have to be tested, or are you saying that based on religious knowledge, knowledge that you have from your doctrine, that is what will stop it? That telling women to dress modestly, like it does in the Quran and in the Bible, will change that?
No, okay. So even my response to myself would be, even if it is true, my response is not that this is not true. Even if it is true that the more women show off, I mean, or even men, if they, people want to look good, whether they're women or men. It helps their
it helps their self-image. For anybody else. It's because they're
it could be about other people. It doesn't matter if it's about other people. It may be okay. So maybe you want to look good because it's not for anybody else but yourself, right? You want to look good. It makes you feel good about yourself. No, maybe you're going to the gym to have a six-pack ab because you want people to notice. Maybe it's for other people, right? But that doesn't mean, like, imagine if you want to have,
what I'm saying is though, is that in the end,
let me finish. If you're a man, if you want to be toned, and if you want people to notice that you have a toned body, that's obviously not an invitation for you to be raped, okay? So, right?
Exactly.
So maybe you just want to be noticed.
And even if I was to get dressed up nice and go out to the club with the intention of getting laid, like I dressed up so I would get laid, so I would have a better chance of getting laid.
Right.
Me looking good.
That's not an invitation to everybody. That's just an invitation to the person that you want. Do you like, right?
Exactly. In the end, there has to be consent.
No. Of course,
there is no invitation. Consent is not given by what you wear. Consent is given verbally.
But the devil's argument was not saying that the rapists are not doing anything wrong. I know the devil's argument is going to be weak no matter what I do because it's a bad argument. But let's not go with the weakest devil's argument. The devil's advocate argument is that. These people are doing something wrong, but you're making it more likely, okay? The problem is that security, even if it's true, let's say that you having a toned body is going to make it more likely that you're going to get raped, okay? If you have a toner body, it's more likely that Jim is going to get raped. So should Jim not go to the gym? Okay, because should you stop exercising because having a toned body it's going to make it more likely for you to get raped? No, that's fucking bullshit. Because
I have a pretty toned body and I've never been raped.
No, but is it going to make it more likely?
No.
It might make it more likely. It might make it more likely. And that's your anecdotal. Let's say you were in prison, okay? And there were some people that were not toned, and you were toned, okay? And in prison, you might get raped, and people are gonna come after you because you have a more toned body. So it might make it more likely. I'm not saying it. I don't know if it would or not.
I don't agree with that. I believe that
you don't even agree that it might.
That has to do with what is allowed or with.
Okay, you don't know, but okay, you're missing my point. You're missing my point. You're missing my point. Let's say putting makeup on, and wearing short skirts, and showing off your boobs is actually going to make it more likely that you're going to get raped. Let's say that's true. Oh. Let's say there's a correlation. Okay? Well, what I'm saying, even if that is true, security should not come as a cost to the way we want to live. What we have to, if that is true, this is a security threat that we need to increase the security for women. Right? Because we need to be able to create a society where people could live the way they want to live without that being a threat to their safety. You know what I mean? So that the situation is to have better police or more cameras in clubs, or better, more bouncers across the club, or whatever, right? This is, even if there is a correlation, even if there is a direct correlation, yes, women that are showing off their body more are more likely to get raped. The solution to that should not be that you change your lifestyle because you want to show off your body. Maybe that makes you feel better. Maybe no. Maybe it's not just for you. Maybe it's for other people to notice. Maybe it's even an invitation to certain people. All of that might be true, and maybe because of that, more people that are rapists want to rape you. And people say, go tell people not to rape. Well, maybe that won't work. There should be more security. The answer should be more security.
But the devil's advocate position maybe won't work, and in fact is much more likely to not work, because the fact of the matter is, it is the way that men behave that is causing this, that is causing the rape culture and the sexual assault culture that exists in today's world, and not what women wear. Because even in third world countries where women are wearing burqas, if they attend the streets alone at night, they are raped.
You're missing the correlation.
Because they are alone and vulnerable. So it has nothing to do with what a woman wears. I'm answering the devil's advocate position.
You don't know how correlations work. Just because it happens, Jim. Just because something happens, it doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen more if there was something, if you change a factor. Okay, so let's look at, so for example, in Islamic country, look, people are wearing hijab head to toe covered, and women are still getting abused, right? Why? Yeah. I might respond by saying yes, but if among all these hijabi women, if you had one woman that was not hijabi, that woman would be at greater risk to all the other hijabi women. That is not an extraordinary claim to make. Okay,
but not because she looks better, but because they will rape her to prove a point to the other women. It has nothing to do with how good she looks.
Jim. Come on, are you serious?
Yes.
You're saying that.
It is done as punishment, just like raping a woman who's alone after dark in certain parts.
You're coming up with specific examples that doesn't negates the correlation. But I'm saying the correlation is there, but it shouldn't matter, even if the correlation is there. See, this is what people...
Yes, the correlation is there, but that correlation isn't universal. The only universal correlation is men's behavior.
Correlation doesn't mean that
universal correlation.
No, you don't. Correlation doesn't mean that the R is 1. It doesn't mean that, I don't know. Okay, it doesn't mean that it works in every single scenario. Even
correlation versus causation, it can be correlating, but not the cause. What we need to talk about is the cause of this.
No, I'm talking about this is correlation that is also that might also cause. Okay, so correlation does not always mean causation, but correlation hints causation. So what I'm saying
but correlation can be a causation, but in order to be a causation, it has to be universally applicable to all instances. It's not applicable to all instances of sexual assault.
Your examples are not proving that this correlation is not a causation. Your examples are coming up with specific scenarios. What I'm saying...
Okay, here,
if you have a rapist in a sea of women that are covered head to toe, and one woman that is naked, I would put money that he's going to go for somebody that is more revealing. That is what I'm saying is that even if there is correlation, we should not be asking, and if this correlation is because of it does prove causation, we should not be asking women to change their lifestyle even if there's a causation, because instead there should be better security, because just like terrorists, right?
But the lack of security
no.
isn't the cause, Armin, and the
You
lack of security
the rapists are the terrorists here.
Is not a universal cause. There are instances where there is security. For instance, somebody living in the safety of their own home behind lock and key, and they're broken into and raped. So there is security in that case, Armin. But we have to look at our universal factors. Universal factors that exist in every instance, and the universal factor is men's behavior. In every single instance of a man raping a woman or a man sexually assaulting a woman, there is one common denominator, and that is a man and his behavior. And not in all those cases, or even in the majority of those cases, what did it have to do with a scantily clad woman?
Okay, I don't think you're understanding my point, but I'm gonna move on. I'm just saying the correlation doesn't have to be one working for every situation for it to be an actual correlation, and a correlation doesn't have to be working for every single example for it to actually be a causation. And if there is a cause, and I think there is a causation, but I think it doesn't matter that it is a causation, because just like when we say we don't, when there's a terrorism and we don't want to let the terrorists win. By changing our lifestyle, we want to increase the security instead of changing our lifestyle. We also recognize that there are rapists, and we don't want to change our lifestyle because there are rapists. We want to increase security because there are rapists, even if there's a direct causation, and I don't understand. There's no term. Universal correlation doesn't make any sense. What when we have in statistics is correlations that the relationship is R is exactly 1, or if R is less than 1. Okay, so just because R is less than 1 does not mean there's no correlation. Okay, and there is a correlation here, and there might also be a causation here. And even if there is a causation, what I'm saying is that this does not suggest that we should change our lifestyle. Anyways. Anyways, let's move on. Because people are getting tired. Why does society always focus on what women wear, but we never focus on what men behavior, and why they don't control their urges? We do, but there are some sick men. I don't understand we are doing here. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, are you saying society is denying that people rape, and that people are sick, and that raping is wrong? And I don't think
that's what they're saying. I think they're saying that whenever these instances do occur, that people are so quick to blame the woman, just like in this instance, and they are the man.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the strongest devil's advocate, and the strongest devil's advocate is not if somebody says, "Hey, women cover up to," again, I'm against this argument. If somebody says women cover up so you protect yourself against rapists, I'm against that position, but my argument against that position would not be, oh, so you're saying it's okay to rape, because they're not saying that, and I'm not going to say, oh, so you're not going to blame the rapist, you're not going to think that the rapist is the problem here. That's not going to be my response, because that's not what they're saying. They acknowledge that the rapist is the problem. They think that you might protect yourself better against the rapist if you cover yourself. And that's the devil's advocate argument, and it's still wrong. But it's important to acknowledge what they're saying, so I could address why they're wrong. Right? They're not denying that the rapist has a problem. Anyways, let's move on. Because let me see the comments here. Okay, the top comment here is by Haiti. He's saying it's 2018 and we're still blaming rape on women's modesty and men's lack of control over temptation. Discussing again, I think this priest here guy did do this, because my devil's advocate was a different. Like this guy's position is like one of the lowest of the. I think even though my devil's advocate position is wrong. Oh. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, the top comment here. Sorry. Even though my devil's advocate position was a little bit stronger than this guy, it's still wrong. But this guy's argument is he's actually blaming the woman, and he's making excuses for the abusers. So this guy is way out there. So I agree with Haiti. Tiffany is saying, I'm certainly not advocating anyone to do this, but if someone sexually assaulted him, I would laugh my fucking ass off and tell him it was his fault. No, I would not do that. Again, even if somebody is wrong, even if somebody's an asshole, being raped is not a justified punishment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, please.
I agree.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Jim. Sean is saying, if that's the case, someone...
I'm not an asshole. I mean, geez.
No, I know. You're great. I really like the fact that we disagree. Your positions against me are very strong. Sean is saying, if that's the case, someone should be smashing his teeth out the back of his hand anytime now. Holy fuck, these people are advocating violence. Please no. Meredith is saying, when a bank gets robbed, is it the bank's fault? They wouldn't get robbed if they didn't have money. Actually, this is a very interesting point, Meredith, because it's one position to... So there's two stupid positions, but one of them is more stupid than the other one, right? So if your position is that it's the bank's fault because they had money, which is kind of like the position of this bishop, that's really extremely stupid. This is really far out there. So if you say if it was the woman's fault, you're so far out. That's the dumbest position you can have. But if you say the bank, it's not the bank's fault, but it's good for the bank to have more more security, right? Like, don't open your gates to why didn't you have what if you go to the bank and say, why didn't you have better security cameras, right? And what the people that are saying that we're telling women to cover is kind of like a bank with no security system. When they get robbed, we're not saying that the person that robbed the bank didn't commit a crime. We're not saying the bank shouldn't have money, but we are saying that it would have been less likely for the bank to get robbed if they had more security. And the reason why that analogy is false is because, we want to look good. We want to have more self-confidence. We want to show off to people that we're attracted to something that they might become attracted to. And we shouldn't be giving that up. Okay? That's an important part of our biology. That's an important part of our sex life. This is a huge desire. This is part of our life. This is like eating and drinking, and this is a major part of our life that we want to be able to enjoy. We shouldn't sacrifice that. We should find a way to get security without sacrificing that. And that's why that analogy doesn't hold. Again, both of those positions are wrong. One of them is more wrong than the other.
Atheists around the world are choosing to give voice to their opinions and no longer hide their lack of religious beliefs. In some cases, this public declaration of atheism can lead to backlash from friends and family. In other areas, it can even be physically dangerous to admit to atheism. Atheist Republic wants to give atheists a louder voice. Let's show them that we're listening, no matter which language they speak. If we reach 500 patrons, we will be able to translate our shows into Arabic, Spanish, Persian, Portuguese, Malay, Bengali, Urdu, Hindi, and other languages. Help us get there at patreon.com/atheistrepublic.